Just like that,
Hey,
fellas. It's another episode, and we are back again. Episode 65. Bring on 70 here soon. Of Who's Fighting. We'll wait for a week and some change. Life happens a little bit, and sometimes we get caught up. But hey, one thing for sure, two things for certain, we will always be back.
hey,
LT Cam G, how you guys doing?
Man, feeling good, feeling better. Two naps today. I'm two naps. Two naps shorty today.
Two naps.
Hey, needed both of them things.
I took a nap. I took a nap at the church. You know that counts. So, back in the game. Yeah,
I took like an hour nap, so yeah, I'm refreshed and ready to go.
Hey.
So without further ado, we have a lot to cover. We won't cover too much about what we missed, but we could just talk. We could touch and go. And this is just because we missed it, and of course the headlines and what has been going around has been going around. But let's just touch and go with this one. The GOAT did it a week and a half. 2 weeks ago. Let's say 2 weeks ago because it was Saturday. Last week. Wait, 2 weeks ago, a week ago. One of them. Yeah.
She did it.
July 26th. She did it, and she did it at home, kind of home adjacent. It's Detroit, but she's a Michigan girl. Fellas, do you have anything to write about this or share about this?
You know, I'm gonna be her hardest critic. Actually, I'm not because she was hard on herself. So she was realistic about her performance. You know, in reflection, she was probably accurate. I think she gave herself a B minus. I would say it was probably I had to say like the worst performance that I've seen from her. But that's because she always delivers at such a high clip. And I hold her to a high standard. And that's just me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more of a kind of a Canelo effect in this fight where she's waiting to counter more. That was just my immediate response to it, immediate reaction. She did allow her opponent to get under her skin a little bit because there was some antics early in the fight. And I think, she had to refocus herself after that. And that might have played a whole lot into it, but I don't know. What you got, Kim?
Man, pretty much in agreement, and the judges were in agreement as well. Like a clean sweep. It was just kind of interesting to see that she wasn't able to cut the ring off as effectively as someone as much experience that she had, and it made me kind of think that she's lacking that challenge that she knows like this is an actual threat. I need to go put the work in and all that because she self-proclaimed herself the GOAT. But have we seen anyone really push her to really show her greatness?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's always, the criticism is like, oh, it was the era. But we know greatness through the eras because of how they were pushed at different times. And seeing them get down, come back up, go through the adversity. I think those are the things that, we think she could handle those things, but we just want to see it. And her opponent was game. Like I said, did get under her skin, but I think she accurately depicted it. As far as a B minus goes, like we expect more, but she knew and we knew that Daniels didn't put forth that true challenge that was going to make her push herself and keep her up at night and give her the extra work in the gym and all that. So I think that's what we saw. We just saw a fighter that was just kind of motivated. So yeah, it happens. She's a human.
Yeah, and I think those early rounds, watching Lonnie Daniels fight, I was like, what are we doing here? Like, she was clearly on a roadrunner mission. She was, what does Mr. El Hashik say?
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry fight.
Tom and Jerry fighting. Like she was running for survival, and I thought that was her tactic, and then it kind of switched within halfway through the fight where she started to somewhat set traps, looked like surprisingly skillful, but even her traps were just too slow and easily they were easily telegraphed that Carissa just looked the superior fighter, just twisting and turning through those traps and countering amazingly. Where I'm like, well, Carissa has been loving her power shots lately. Before she was a very jab centric fighter. I was seeing a lot of hooks involved in her fighting. I was a lot of body blows. Like, I don't know, it's something that just changed when she became a little heavy and went to the heavyweight, and she's changed her style of fighting. If you look at her record, I don't think she necessarily has stats that would let you know that Carissa is a knockout artist. I think she's probably had, prior to that, 2 people that she had knocked out or stopped. So seeing her style evolve, I'm like, we're seeing a brand new fighter with a different level of confidence. And she looked really, really, I would say she looked really, really good. Yes, there was an element that was frustrating. I wish she cut the ring off in the beginning and gave Miss Daniels the treatment that she deserved. But regardless from that, I think this is the best Carissa I've seen. Besides that fight with Savannah Marshall. That was a good Carissa because it was a war. But that was because the opponent brought that out of Carissa. But prior to that, it's just been easy. But this fighter was easy, but the style that she put on was a difference. Am I saying something off here? Like, was this the typical style you see Carissa dominating people? Like, it looked like she was just overly confident.
I think you're right. So she got a knockout in her first fight when she moved up to heavyweight, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be what we're seeing as far as a shift in her style. Is she's found power as she moved up in weight, and she's probably trying to deliver to the crowd. But if she just trusts her laurels, fall back on just the basics, I think it'll come to her naturally, right, instead of going looking for it, right?
Yeah, like she's not using distance as a thing anymore. She's not distance fighting or, strike. I mean, she could still strike good with one power with her distance because she's long. She got short arms. She calls herself T-Rex, but it's more of, I don't know. I don't know how to say it in boxing terms. It's just like she's putting herself in the line of fire, like, which is different from, and that's what is amazing about her. She can box. She can really, really box. But she's been going for it lately, and I like it. I wish there was competition enough to make it interesting while she's doing this new style.
But LT was right. She did put down her first heavyweight opponent, second round TKO, and then her last fight against Danielle Perkins, she went down in that last round.
Yeah.
So we are seeing some carryover to power.
And just to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works, and that's why I say X is a very dark space. Twitter is a very dark space. Somehow, whenever that power shot happens, there's an alignment to supplements and some company out there, and I'm like, get out of here! But it's so hard to shake off alliance to a nutrition company out there.
When you had the Kingpin, it's not like a regular.
Oh, it's
somebody that was large and in charge as far as changing the results of a whole generation of sports.
They've been showing.
Yeah, come on, man. It's like it's hard not to see that. It's like it's right in our face.
The unfortunate thing about it is her hand is forced in this matter. because it's just where she stands as far as marketability, and she got to take that. She got to take that sponsorship.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not she ever took a vitamin, it doesn't matter.
Right.
She got to wear the shorts,
Mm-hmm.
She's an
So,
ambassador.
and quite frankly, Clarissa has world-class timing and speed, hand speed. So that's really what produces the knockouts. Like,
Speed
and I
equals
think that's
power.
and I think that's why she didn't get one this last fight, was that she was on the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said Twitter is a very dark place. It's not only Carissa getting it; it's Terrence Crawford. They start to put out alignments of when they started becoming snack ambassadors, the people they fought, the style of knockouts they've had. Now that they're moving up in weight, Terrence Crawford struggling with this person. It's just crazy. Twitter is a very convincingly. You have to stay away from it and touch some grass and just cleanse yourself from what you've read from Twitter before coming out here and saying stuff on these microphones. Because I'll tell you, from what I was seeing on Twitter, I'm like, well, this knockout power, where is it coming from? I'm looking at the Olympics, the two Olympics. I'm like, that was a boxer. That was T-Rex was a boxer. Like this is newfound confidence. But again, it's not to downplay the hard work. I mean, that's just me being funny and just going off the Twitter streets. I mean, it's what LT said is absolutely right. Her timing, her reflexes, the way she moves, it's so unfair how fighting some girls. Like, she moves like, not to say in about it, she moves like a dude, like with her head movement, everything. It's just,
she'll
so
say it herself.
It's crisp, it's clean. She's 100% accurate, like not 100%, but her clip is pretty accurate. Her percentage is pretty accurate. Her punch percentage. So yeah, they'll knock you out if it's not by one punch, but by many punches, you find yourself on the floor, even as a dude. So I'm not taking that away from her, but it's just, I just had to bring in Twitter and a suspicious supplement company, but just to.
If he was gonna bring up Twitter, I thought you would have brought up the Layla Ali discussion, not some wormhole you went down.
Okay, we can talk about that.
I haven't seen that part of Twitter. I ain't got that.
We can talk about Layla Ali briefly, and I'm just gonna say it straight up, it's a bluff. That old lion doesn't want nothing of this young, hungry lion. That's a bluff.
That's the whole point of putting the number out there. Like, you put the number out there, and it's like, okay, nobody's
probably gonna say no.
20. That's why she said 15 at first, and then she said 20 to get her to think about it.
Right. And the people Carissa's age probably didn't even see Layla Ali fight. We are some old heads. Let me put it out. I saw Layla Ali fighting, and I'll be honest with you. It was, now I want to say this very delicately. I want to say it with tactful. It's like early days of the WNBA. Great college players turning professional, but there were players in the WNBA that are not similar to the level of professional right now in the WNBA. Right now, it's a different skill level. More than power, more than size, because Layla is maybe like 6 foot tall. She's a big girl. Maybe 5'11". Yes, she did have knockouts. She knocked out people. I did see that. But I don't even think, and with respect to Layla Ali, respect to heritage. She's from heritage. But I don't know if you guys agree with me. It's different levels right now in skill. It's just different levels. Clarissa is by far, from my eye test. I know there's probably somebody that's beating her up in the amateurs. It's happened. She's lost before to another. But by far on this earth that I've seen, a lady fighter that I've seen, I don't see ever. I've not seen a lady fighter better than her. Yes, we could talk about winningness. We could talk about the Serranos of the world. We can talk about the Katie Taylors. But am I off here? Or I've not seen enough women's boxing to even make this statement.
Well, currently, I would never want to see this fight happen. Hopefully, she asks for $50 million, and then they just like, all right, you don't want to fight because no one wants to see that. But if we want to just talk, stylistically, you can't ever discount someone knocking out another human being like
Right.
that. You always have to take that into account. And if you watch the style of how Ali fought, she was gonna be in your face, and she was gonna let them hands go. That was the style. So I think stylistically that makes for a great fight. But knockout power is knockout power, and that is a real thing. So hopefully the whole discussion of the fight can kind of dissipate because she's been retired for damn near 20 years.
Yeah.
But that's all I got.
Yeah. LT, are you entertaining any of this? He's like, nah, I'm not even going to talk about it.
Clarissa versus Jake Paul is more realistic.
Nah, for real. Like a little exhibition.
Even with that, I don't even think Jake Paul stands a chance. That's what I believe. I believe in that girl. I believe. Okay, boxing wise, I believe in about Twitter and all that stuff. How she handles her social media, that's a different thing. But inside that circle square, I believe in Carissa Shields. I believe it's not about if it's just boxing. I believe her IQ can make her win that guy off a unanimous decision.
When take the fight, if they fought at 160.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah. We're early into this. All right, let's touch one last fight from the week before. Let's talk about Xander Zayas versus Jorge Garcia Perez, and this is for the vacant. I think this is the super middleweight. No, so super welterweight, which is the junior middleweight. WBO belt. Zayas won this fight by decision, and I had a chance to watch this because I was wondering who is going to take on that ranking, because that super welterweight division is interesting. It's one of the divisions I watch because, of course, Terrence Crawford is the WBA. We have Fandora in there with WBC, and then we have Bahram, the monster. Bakram, is it Bakram? Bakram, if I'm saying it right. In that space. So I was like, okay, who's gonna take the WBO? And Zayas is that guy. So very, very, very good champions in that division to make good fights. And even in the outskirts, we have Yoenis Tellez. I think we also have Virgil Ortiz in there waiting for one of these guys to snatch that belt. So it's a very interesting division. I think it's junior middleweight, super welterweight. That's 154. Fellas, did you catch this fight?
Man, I caught the early rounds of this fight. That was that main event. It kind of caught me sleeping on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this happened in New York, and so we have a new WBO champ taking on the vacant belt, and that was last week. I mean, also Shushu, I believe, fought last week. We don't have him on our banner, but that was another big headline fight in New York happening. That's
significance, though. Significance. This was the final top-ranked card on ESPN.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Shushu fought on it. He didn't go out with a bang. This was his opportunity to really have a going away present on cable. And it was an underwhelming performance.
He looks to make 126. He looks like he's just draining himself. I was watching him fight, and I'm like, nah, he just looks. Yeah, I didn't see that oomph in his body language. It just looked a little short of something. Yeah. His body type does not seem to be right at 126. So I feel like that reflected in his performance.
Yeah, I watched this
And
simultaneous with the Clarissa card. I don't know. I didn't walk away too impressed with Xander either, honestly. As far as comparing them to the other champions, so
it's a wild group. He's put himself next to some wild names. Those names are scary, especially that guy Bahram. Talk about Bahram. You know, even Fandora is now looking scary after his last few fights. You know, the Timzu and like
now.
I mean,
Fandora? Fandora looks
looking. No, I mean he kind of he's been knocked down. He's lost a few fights. I mean, lost one fight. But I mean, the scary factor now is it's sitting in that this dude is. I mean, yeah, physically he is scary. Like he's a big 6'4" fighting at 154. But there's that factor that he's just been slapping people around. Like, so I don't know. It's the whole group that that Xanders is putting himself next to. They're some monsters. Terrence Crawford. I don't think Terrence Crawford is going to fight again at 54. I just don't see him going back there.
Hey, just to jump on Fandora a little bit, you know, he's pretty determined to do things the hard way, as in regards not only to his style, but you guys see that he's going to Harvard.
Yeah, he's in Harvard. Yeah.
Wait, what?
He's in Harvard. Yeah.
The man's from California. He could easily go to Stanford.
Yeah.
I'm going to Harvard.
Yeah. I think he switched his nickname from the Towering Inferno to something Harvard something. Yeah, he's switching.
Wait, do we have what is he studying? We're just taking classes. He just like, hey, I'm gonna take some classes.
I'll search that. But he's an attendee of Harvard. Yeah.
Wow.
They live a very they've done some specials on them. They live a very modest life out there in the West Coast. They're farm kids. Like they feed chicken and do all sorts of stuff. Like he's a farm guy. And I mean, I just like their person. Him, and when I say they, him, his sister, and his whole family, like they all very tight knit
farmers.
Farmers, yeah.
That feeds in my theory that farmers will make great fighters, or fighters should farm.
Yeah.
You got Roy Jones Jr.
Mm-hmm. That's quite a bit. Evander Holyfield from Alabama. There was a farmer. They're quite a few.
All
right. Earl Spence waited just a little too late to go.
Yeah. Well, it slowed him down. You know, he was in heavy out here, you know, drinking and hanging with the right.
If we could have got him on the horse and out the Ferrari, yeah,
the history would look different.
I'm really happy for a guy like that, seeing how he's pivoted. It's even in his social media, like it's all about his kids and him just doing family stuff. I don't think you're gonna see that guy in the ring anytime soon, and I don't blame him. I mean, that dude survived death, bro.
Wait, who are you talking about?
We're talking about Earl Spence.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, well, we not talking about Earl.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure I was following.
Yeah. He's social media, man. It's all family centric, and vacation and stuff like that, and not worried about any of boxing noise. So.
Hey, he good. Hey, he need to take care of his people.
Yeah, man. I
take care of your coach.
Yeah, that's another thing. He's
take care of your coach.
Coaches, stuff has been.
Yeah.
But moving on to this weekend, we'll talk about this WBA super lightweight eliminator fight. We're talking about Oscar Duarte versus the hometown kid, and this is Chi-Town. We're talking about Kenneth Sims Jr. Great fighter. I was waiting for him to step on the big lights even more. So he lost, though. He lost by majority decision to Duarte. And Duarte now stands in line for the WBA super lightweight belt, and it was a well-deserved victory from my viewing. Although I felt Sims could have done, I've seen a better Sims, to say the least. Fellas, take it on. What you say?
First of all, it's cards like these that make it pay off to be a fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
Cards like these that nobody's talking about, but only the diehards tune into. Because if you guys remember, I seen the next one we just gonna talk about, the co-main, if you want to call it the co-main, and I was like, okay, I'm watching this because this is intriguing. But yeah, no, it's cards like these. Even like going into this, Sean Zattel said it had the makings of Fight of the Year candidate. Yeah, I was thoroughly pleased. Now, this is on the zone.
Putting out heat.
I gotta give credit to Eddie Hearn because check this out. Even though Sims is the hometown kid, fighting a Hispanic opponent. Little known fact, but there is a huge contingency of the Mexican population just outside of Chicago. So when you look at jersey sales, the Bears are ranked like 4th amongst Mexicans. You know, obviously it's like Cowboys, Raiders. Then I think it goes Chargers, Bears, something like that. But I think it's, but yeah. So sneaky good. Like it was very intentional. You know, when you pick out the opponent for Sims, right? Obviously, Sims is the hometown guy, but very intentional about the opponent there. And hey, look, there's a recipe for success. I've been hard on Salida, which we're not even going to talk about that. Nobody's going to talk about the undercards for Clarissa. You know, he did a last ditch effort getting Tony Harrison. Like, hey, probably a little bit too late, too little, too late to get a contract renewal. But you know, hey, you know,
Hey, Chicago is a great boxing city. Would love to see more fights there. Now, this fight in particular, it kind of played out to me like fights we've seen recently. Tevin Farmer versus our guy William Zepeda, and then there was another fight recently. But those styles, right? Even Shakur Zepeda just played out in a different way. The Mexican fighter on the gas. The other fighter, who happens to be black, slick style, maybe not having necessarily knockout power, having to outpoint and outbox. Sometimes recent history has shown us that the pressure fighter has got those close rounds. Sometimes we do see the slick boxer get those rounds. More times than not, though, the pressure fighter's getting those rounds, and that's what we saw. Because I did really enjoy watching Kenneth Sims Jr.'s boxing ability. I thought I saw a lot of slick stuff, a lot of catching shots, rolling with shots. I saw head movement. So with me, the fight was, I feel like, accurately depicted. It could have went either way. Right. But for me personally, I probably would have had a similar scorecard with the nod going to Sims Jr. just because stylistically, it was more pleasing to me to see an accurate puncher that displayed footwork and defense versus just a fighter on the front foot and throwing more punches, being more active. So, but very entertaining to watch, though.
And just to add, for me to add something actually about the fight, the actual fight, the rounds, you mentioned the swing rounds, and in contrast to that, the rounds where Sims, there were some rounds where it looked like you just took the round off. And those are overwhelmingly given to, and then the rounds that Sims would win, he had to earn them.
Mhm.
And I think that kind of edged it. It might be one or two that just edged it out,
Mhm.
where he just was dominated by a round or two.
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely spot on. I mean, Oscar Duarte approached this with a style that kind of neutralizes a slick fighter. Like you overwhelm him, and even if you're not touching that person up, really touching them up, but the activity just makes you look like you're in charge and you're controlling it, right? Like Sims, oh man, I love his fighting style. I've seen him fight before. I've actually first time I heard about him was when he used to spar with Porter, and Porter used to talk highly about him. He's like, "Yo, this guy that has been giving me work," and I had to go watch his fights, and I'm like, "Oh, he's the truth. He's just not getting the opponents to come and fight him at that 45 54. So um seeing him fight, I think with his style of fighting, if you don't have a savvy eye to that type of fighter, you could easily underestimate the activity that he's doing. And some people fall victim to that. Like you could talk about names like Tevin Farmer, Floyd Mayweather. Like sometimes you think they're losing, but they're actually having their way, fighting off the back foot, or fighting off the back foot while pivoting and finding themselves just switching the fight from you pressing or you on the front foot to you on the back foot. It's a dance when these guys are fighting, and it looks sometimes even I caught myself saying, "Man, Kenny, man, more urgency." But I was hearing commentary saying that's amazing. Kenny's staying in this side. He's doing this. He's doing that. I'm like, no, he needs to. He's losing his rounds. And then when a fighter creates a debate, when you're watching the same fight, then there's something special there that can create a little bit of separation between people watching. But I do agree with the score. I think Oscar Duarte won that fight because of how I was seeing it. Was Kenny needed I call him Kenneth Smith, Kenny Sims Jr. needed to have more of a dominating take because he's home. Yes, he's home, but again, are you home when you're fighting in a place where you always find Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and like, are you home really? Like, where if even if you're from the UK, and you have like anyway, I don't want to go into that, but like, yeah, is he home? But he's home, and he was just so comfortable. I wish he treated it that he was like behind enemy territory, and he had to do every little thing to win this fight, because I really was on his side and advocating for him to win this fight. But I have to go with what the judges, chose, which was the majority decision going against him. But
do we want to put it in perspective for a second? The one knockout that Duarte has came to Ryan Garcia. So, just watching the impressive display from last night, sometimes we forget how good Garcia is, or just at least how good that left hook is.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that mentioned on Twitter. It was like that victory is aging like wine against Duarte. No speculation there with the Osterine in that fight.
All right, let's talk about another. I wouldn't call it a classic, but this was a great fight. Regis Progress versus Joseph Diaz. By the way, but this guy retired. But anyways, I digress. This was a fight. This was a great fight. And this is where I could see people debating about what happened here. But Progress won this narrowly, and it was by unanimous decision. Narrowly, that's hilarious. By unanimous decision. What was your take on this? Do you think a unanimous decision is right? Like,
all right, so I'll go first because this is the one I was looking forward to. To make a comparison, since we're using throwing these names out there, this is Haney versus Garcia. If Haney doesn't get knocked down,
Mm.
am I making sense?
Okay.
Because Haney outpointed Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
You just couldn't ignore all the knockdowns. Now, Prograis visibly shaken,
Yeah.
multiple times, but he outpointed Diaz.
Yeah.
So, I think I do agree with it. It's a sport, and you judge it round by round. So, there were no 10-8 rounds.
Yeah. Right. But fight should have ended in a TKO. Yeah. So I meant to send this earlier. I don't know if you checked it out in the chat, but there was a moment late in the fight where the doctor, maybe it was the 10th or 11th round, could have even been the final round. It was championship round. Jojo Diaz has 2 cuts over his left eye.
Right.
Doctor moves the hand over. He said, "How many fingers?" He said 2. And then and it was incorrect. It was on camera. The fight should have ended in a TKO. It was almost like the doctor was like, I want to give you the chance to go out here and be great. But I wanted to bring this up first before I talk about how great a fight it was, but we have these safeguards in place for the fighters. And if we're not going to honor them in the moment, what's the point of even having them?
I was going to ask you about that, by the way. So when you send that video, I saw it, and I was thinking in my mind, this is not a concussion procedure. This is more of vision, because you're wiping his eye. And with vision, I think there's a rule that assesses the eye vision, first of all, following, and then also, like, if you're seeing multiple, can they stop a fight if you say, I've got my vision back, and you retest it? I know concussion is very strict. If you feel that concussion, they say stop it there and then. They're like, nah, this dude is. I don't know what it is. I know with football,
it's essentially the same test, right? It's either you can't follow the finger or recognize the number of fingers up because you're concussed, or you're swelled, or the blood is in your eyes. So it's almost a very baseline test you're doing on the fly in between rounds. But if you're going to have that safeguard in place and not adhere to it, it's like, what are we even doing? Because it was a great fight up until that moment. I don't think people are clamoring about a doctor stopping the fight over the fighter's safety. It was just, to me, it was just very surprising to see. But the fight was amazing. Back and forth. Prograis was hurt numerous times. Jojo Diaz is the heart of a warrior. Good back and forth action. Ruch's Prograis mentioned retiring before this fight, which I hate to hear when guys went to a fight talking about retirement, but he may have earned himself another payday down the line here real soon. So
this is interesting because this is a sport where you're guaranteed a concussion. Like, it's just about guaranteed. Like, the definition is, and this is fluid, and I literally just sat through 4 hours of training on Thursday. But the definition, anytime your brain jiggles and hits, the brain hits the skull, so you almost guaranteed a concussion. So I'm kind of on the side of the doctor a little bit. Right? I like just considering that fact. Well, it's not bleeding and it's not swollen to the point where he can't see. His eye is following it, even though he gave me the wrong, And this is thinking like on a deeper level, but anyway, intrusive thoughts.
No, I think the doctor was investing into the fight. Like, this is a great fight. You're not out here getting your ass whipped. You saw something. you know, it was just one of those things that hey, I just
Loss
wanted
of
to bring,
translation.
yeah, bring light to that, because like at what discretion are we looking at these
Oh
things?
my god!
But yeah, man, it was fight was amazing. Like I said, fight of the year candidate for sure. And these are the types of cars where you get fights like that. This is why we do have to make sure we tune in to the in between fights.
And you know what? Yeah,
this was great. This was great. Like even I think the next one, yeah, these were great.
Yeah, I was so impressed with Porgray and how he fought this fight because, like you said, last fight he was fighting in the UK and he announced he's done boxing and he wanted to. He said he's been doing it a long time and he had that long stuff that he had a long soliloquy that he was saying, and he had not been convincing. Actually, he is the reason. He's the fool's gold that made us believe in David Haney and what David Haney could do to a world class fighter. Because David Haney beat the brakes out of him, and he was a champ back then. He was the champ and fighting out of 2-time champ. So I was like, whoa, David Haney is a problem. If you could do this to Program, you're nice. You're really nice. Of course, also Kambosis did that. Fool's gold. We kind of like I still believe David Hayes is a good fighter, but he beat these two guys, and we were like, yeah, he's that guy. Let's put him in that Tank, Shakur Stevens, that group of fighters, right? But just seeing how he's only lost 3 times to some legit people. I think the last guy was Jack Catterall.
Yeah. So Jack, he been knocked down by Jack Catterall. Was it TKO? So post fight, they were asking him if JoJo hurt him, and he's saying that no, he didn't hurt me, but I just have bad balance. Speaking of concussions, this could lead. I mean, we laughing, but this could lead. If somebody was to really look at it and dissect that, maybe this is neurological.
Yeah. If you really wanted to dive into, if you want to take it there, that if your nervous system is what's in charge of like sending the right signals to balance you out. So if that's compromised.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just fighters have egos, and it's to me it doesn't even, you don't even have to answer that type of question. Did I win or not win? Because at the end of the day, whether it's bad balance, if somebody clocks you in the head, you're gonna still have bad balance. Like it's either or. It's cause and effect. You clocked in the head the right way, behind the ear, your equilibrium is off, you're gonna have bad balance. So they asked him, have you been clocked in the head? And he's like, no, but I have bad balance. Well, what causes bad balance? Like, you've been clocked in the head. Like, now to me, even if it's neural, which is unfortunate if it's getting Parkin, what are the neural mobility issues? Like, I know Ali had Parkins. There's so many that happen with movement, and that's if it's serious, and it happens a lot to fighters, football, people that do these sports that involve trauma to the brain. I understand it's serious, but like, I would, if I'm a fighter, I would never respond to that. I don't care if they've dropped me, I got up. I'm like, yeah, you get caught. You're in this business, like you said. It's almost like 80%. Actually, let me say it's 90% a chance you'll get caught boxing. How you react to it, that's on your jaw, and how your brain can handle trauma. Some people get knocked out, some people drop down, some people eat it. But you're still gonna get caught. That's the business. It's the hurt business. So I will not answer those type of questions, but that's funny that he said.
I mean, that's a violence issue, bro. That's a whole. Somebody just did a skit about that. How like boxers are expected to. Maybe this was during the training. We're expected to answer these questions after, Yeah.
No.
Put them, then just right after that, put a microphone in their face.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we get some of the wild post-fight interviews. Think about if you ever had to give an interview, you have to get into a car wreck. Like, how would you? How would that replay go? So,
I'm just thinking about my guy from Houston. Was it Lewis? Lewis, the UFC fighter.
Oh.
Derek Lewis. Bro, it's crazy. And I remember the Conor McGregor fight when he broke his leg. And then here comes Joe Rogan on the floor with him, asking him about how the fight went. His leg is broken.
That is savage.
I'm like, nah, it's all over. There was a meme about that. Joe Rogan is gonna sneak in an interview anywhere, anyhow. They show him when this dude's leg is all broken. But let's move on to the next card on that fight night of Saturday. This is for it's a cruiserweight bout. We have Christian Carketh versus Devontae Williams. In this fight, Christian Carketh is defeated by unanimous decision. This was a 10-rounder. It looked like he was in control of this whole fight. As you can see from the records, these are not beginners, they're not novices to the game. A few of them both of them, I think, are in the teens. I'm doing the right math here.
No, yeah. I think this one ended in an early stoppage. He quit on the stool. This was a late replacement. Make sure.
And it's fake news on my end. But yeah, I wouldn't send that. I wouldn't put that on the banner there then.
No, it was a late replacement. Body shot by Tristan Carketh and didn't really even land flush. Man, our guy had a good. It was those 2 rounds, and in the third round, he was actually getting praised about the commentary as far as the willingness to box, and looked like we were going to have an interesting fight with a late replacement. But it looked like he didn't want to fight. He came there for a check, so we can move on.
Yeah.
If we had a clip of it, I mean, that shot didn't really land. He kind of caught on the elbow and he went down.
No, I'm laughing because you said he didn't want to fight. We can move on.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight. He faked this. He faked it. It was a con job. He had like he wanted to fight. And he was like, "Oop, nah, I'm playing. Let me get that."
I'm looking at the banners for a lot of these fights. I'm like, damn, they squeezed all the juice like 2 weeks ago. Like all the big fights. Like right now, I'm just like pulling. We're pulling straws right now. Just reaching for straws right now.
In between. But look, we got good boxing this weekend. Like the Oscar Duarte fight was impressive. The Regis Prograis fight. I don't know. I don't see our guy Rocket from Houston on here, but I mean, he just got another body on the record. So yeah, somewhat notable things, but yeah, man, that was in between. That's what it is.
Are you talking about Quentin Rakin? Quentin Rakin?
Rankin? Yeah. Oh no. I did watch that fight too, but they're trying to get their prospect on. But Rocket from Houston, heavyweight.
Ooh,
he fought a 6th round, I believe, but it was
Joshua Edwards.
Joshua Edwards.
That's his Audi. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, but that was a first round stoppage, I think.
First round stoppage. That was his 3rd fight, and he had 3 knockouts.
Yeah, so
winning.
So this is a quick night of work. So I mean, we just checking out the next potential heavyweight, American heavyweight, undersized, but a lot of skill.
Next 2 weeks, or
he's been fighting. This was his 4th fight this year, so they're keeping him busy.
All right, so let's go into the world of the UFC, and then this is going to be like recapping an older This is not this weekend, but the weekend prior, we had Bobby Knuckles versus Duarte. Duarte won by split decision. Won't get into the depth of that since this is just old news. Revisiting Bobby Knuckles. Those people that watch MMA who they know Bobby Knuckles is. That's Robert Whitaker from Australia. Amazing striker. Kind of borderlining. Like I think he's cycle of fighters are all retired. Like you're seeing the Max Holloway, who else? That group of fighters that came in with Bobby Knuckles, former UFC champion. But yeah, he fought. We have Petre Yan versus Marcus McGee. And Yan delivered a clinical unanimous decision victory over McGee. And then we'll talk about Shara. We've talked about Shara quite a few times here. Shara is the guy who cannot fight in the United States, but he will always fight in Abu Dhabi. Shara Magnum, they all have the same name. Magda Medov. And I say they, I'm saying people from Dagestan. He's a redhead Dagestani dude with a missing eye. They call him the pirate or something like that. He cannot fight in the US because there's nobody that will clear a one-eyed MMA fighter to fight. It's just he won't get cleared here. So he will never fight in the United States as long as that there's no sanctioning body that will let that happen. But he gets to fight overseas whenever UFC is overseas. And apparently Abu Dhabi, they don't care if you have one eye. Can you get the job done? And apparently the guy gets the job done. He won by unanimous decision over Marc-Andre Barrett, if I'm saying it, Barrelt. And that is that. I don't want to go into all the fights on that card because this is such an old or a few weeks ago, but I'll just dive into what happened this weekend. This was here in the United States, Las Vegas. Oh, stop. This is happened at the Apex Arena, if I'm saying it right, or the Apex UFC Apex.
Can I cut you off just for half a second? Sure. Shout out to Stephen Wynn.
Oh yes, he was on that. Oh yes, let's stop this. Let's go back. I forgot. How did we miss him? Ninja.
Not only was he on the card, but he set a UFC record for most knockdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 8?
Something ridiculous, but the photo, the photo of the swollen eye was insane.
It was so bad that people were like, yes, you broke a UFC record, but that referee's not going to referee again.
Bro, he was sitting there like
you're going to let somebody die in that ring for real. Like, because this dude is not deciding to get out of here. Some people are just strong-willed. They will refuse to get out. Like, sometimes you got to save a fighter. Like, nah, bro, you're going to kill this guy. Like, yes, you broke a record, but can that referee again? Like, yo,
man. Hey, and then the local tie-in, Ninja does his strength work with my guy Juice over at Triple D here in Dallas, and it was really cool to see Stephen Wynn. Shout out Juice. I think he brought him back some merch and did some celebratory libations.
Mm-hmm.
He got back in town, so that was cool to see because I know from what I've seen in this business, some of the fighters do not take care of their people. So, what's that?
It was six knockdowns.
Six knockdowns. So, it's really cool and really happy to see my guy Juice get some love out of that as well, man. Because it's a crazy business, and you have to celebrate the wins. You know, they're a big deal. It's a lot of work, a lot of things go into it. So, man, congratulations to Stephen Wynn.
I don't know the rules in mixed martial arts. I know in boxing, if it's like a rule in boxing. If they knock you down twice concurrently, they knock you down. Of course, the referee checks your arms and whatever. If everything is solid and you're good to go, they knock you down a second time. They check, and if you're not responsive within how many punches, I think 4 punches that you receive or something, and you're not responding back, automatically you're supposed to shut that stuff off. Like you're supposed to, drape the fighter and say no, TKO, referee stoppage. I don't know about mixed martial arts, but 6, my God, like at least by like 3, you're like, yo, this dude is eating your ass. Like you don't. I don't think even if you take it the distance, unless you're looking for like a Hail Mary, like trying to blitz and get a knockout. But nah, man, that's crazy. I don't know. Gotta look out. You gotta look after these fighters. Like they can't be like that referee.
That was a moment.
That eye looked like, you when you beat some of these fighters, especially I've not seen it in boxing yet, but there's a mixed martial artist that got permanently blind because of that type of there's a medical term for it, that type of swelling. Yeah,
not a hematoma.
It has
that neighborhood though. Isn't that neighborhood?
Yeah.
It got so bad that it was a vein connected to the eye or something that is just the trauma ruptured something, and I'm like, whoa. Like I look at that, you think it's just a simple eye jammy. Well, no, it's not a simple eye. Like there's so much connected to the eye, the orbital area, and you gotta protect these fighters, man.
Hey man, watch out for Jojo Diaz, man. Let's check on him in a couple months.
Yeah. And I forgot which MMA fighter that completely lost his eyesight off that one eye. Because
if there was a boxer, it would have been Kell Brook.
Woo.
Yeah. There's a joke about Kell Brook, and I don't want to say I don't want Kell Brook to kick my ass, but Kell Brook is a funny fighter, bro. They're like, you can slap Kell Brook and break his jawbone, but it's just like there was just the whole thing of Kell Brook's bones easily breaking, but Kell Brook was so caught doing. He's just a funny fighter, man. He's just funny. He enjoys life, to say the least. But yeah, he's had 2 orbital fractures.
He's probably the only guy I can say he was up on the cards against both Errol Spence and Crawford, though.
Man, think about that. Kell Brook fighting Triple G, Errol Spence,
Danny Garcia,
and Crawford.
Porter.
A career that, see.
Man, that's.
And he was looking good
tough.
against Crawford. He was looking good against Crawford. No, he was looking good against Spence, but Spence.
Spence hurt. He up until what, 6? I was at your house, Strap.
Yeah. It's crazy to say. All right, so let's move to Las Vegas, to the UFC Apex. We'll start with the main event. We had Tatsuro Taira versus Hyun Sung Park, and this is for the flyweight main event. Taira secured a face submission, or a face crank submission, over Park, or Sun Park. Then we move over to the next fight, which co-main. We have Chris Duncan versus Matthias Rebecki, if I'm saying that right. And Chris Dunn earned a unanimous decision win. As described there, a brutal, bloody fight versus Matthias Rebecki. Then we move over to a lightweight bout. We have Esteban Ribovich versus Elvis Brenna. And Ribovich won by unanimous decision over Brenna. And the score was 29-28, 30-27, in more of a dominating control victory contest that they had. Now we move over to the women's bantam weight bout, we have Caro Rosa versus Nora Cornell or Cornell, if I'm saying it right. Fellas, correct me if you feel free. Rosa won comfortably by unanimous decision, scoring 30, 27, 29, 27 twice, and showing a dominating performance both on the ground and standing up. And then here's the last two. We have Neil Magny versus Elus. Yo, these names. Oh, this one. Elus Zalewski dos Santos. Neil Magny snapped his UFC. He broke his losing streak by winning by TKO in the second round, beating Zaleski. And then finally, the names get easier. Kevin Velios versus Danny Silver. I'm saying that right. Help me out. Velios recorded a unanimous decision victory over Silver. And that is my UFC touch and go for this week. I'll be honest. I didn't watch none of these fights.
So I watched, but it gave like a quarantine feel. You know, it yeah, I was surprised. Like, it's Las Vegas, but it wasn't a big fight, you know. Yeah, just kind of.
Is UFC losing their steam right now?
Is it? I'm not gonna say that, but I mean, I may have seen like card games in the background, like not paying.
So to me, that means they need to go to places like, Palm Springs, California, Fort Worth, Texas, Omaha, Nebraska, because those places do appreciate live action and don't necessarily get them all the time. And fight game, whether it's UFC or boxing, the environment matters, to feel that energy. The quarantine fights weren't very entertaining to watch because of that feel in the arena. So just a thought, maybe hitting on these in between, right? We had an in between boxing weekend, and same with the UFC. Maybe you allocate some of those venues to the Midwest and smaller towns. So you get that feel, that passion is there. People want to see these events.
Yeah. Also, like UFC are right now, and I know they have a solid promotion. They have TKO. I believe TKO is there, the conglomerate that is over UFC, WWE, and very soon, Taki Al-Hashik, his Riyadh season is going to be collaborating with TKO.
That's the stock symbol.
Yeah. I think Taki is going to take over UFC, but that's another topic for another day. Right now, UFC is struggling to find a face. They're still clawing onto the names that of yesteryear that were celebrities and fighters, like a Conor McGregor. They lost a Joan Bones recently to quote unquote retirement. He's not retired. He's just out of contract with them, and we just disagreed on stuff. They've lost Francis Ngannou. They have an aging Stylebender, and I'm talking about stars. These are guys that are box office. When you put them on a card, people are going to buy pay-per-view. They're going to stream that thing. Right now, you guys, maybe LT, he watches UFC quite a bit. But Cam, let me ask you, who's the star that you could pick out right now from the active roster that is a champion?
I don't know.
Who? Okay, I'll tell you who the heavyweight champion is right now. Tom Aspinall. Do you know who that is?
I mean, I know who that is, yes.
Right. But most people don't even know him. Is a guy from the UK. Like the last real, even I don't even if I could call Pereira a star. but they really need to go back to the grassroots of UFC and develop a star, meaning storyline. And every star needs a heel. You need to have another good fighter, because we made McGregor a star because Jose Aldo had to be the heel. And Jose Aldo was a legend, like a legit legend, being the bad guy, or quote unquote the bad guy. He was never, for the guys that like UFC, Silver became a star because he had people that were opposite him. You had the Rampages of the world. You had all these other guys who were bad boys, right? You have to have that balance in the storyline. You don't even have a Rampage anymore in the UFC. And Rampage wasn't like a top tier one to, he was okay. He was a top 5, but yeah, he was champ, if I remember. Was Rampage champ? Or he was champion in another organization. I can't remember. But the Rashad Evans of the world were champion. The Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Interesting character, interesting story, interesting look. They don't have that anymore.
The talent has to pop off though. Like the fighters you mentioned early, Anderson, Silva, Stylebender, the Conor McGregor. There is talent that pops off the screen. Like you're like, oh, when you're watching the fight, you see it, and then they paired it with personalities that are box office. So I was just asking the question because I'm like, yeah, as the years have gone by, I've seemed to know fewer fighters, and I know for me, I'm looking for the MMA game, I'm looking for that talent that really pops off the screen. Yeah, because I mean the personalities are cool, but for me, I want to see the things I don't like. With Conor, I really like seeing him kick. Like he had that almost like a movie stance, like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something, like or GSP, like with the boxing. Yep. That was one of my favorites. So it just, I think those things just have to pop off the screen for a fan like me. So that's why I was asking that question.
Also, I think UFC has got very political, kind of, if you know what I mean. Not only just internal politics. I mean, the next UFC is going to be had in the White House, whatever the next big, like it's so many affiliations. If you see it, if you know. And also, if we talk about geopolitical, which I like about the geopolitics that's happening in the UFC, but I don't think locals like to see people from Dagestan come and just beat all these ragdoll these American fighters. Like ever since Khabib came, there's been a slew of the Dagestani boys coming. It's like boxing in the 2000s when the Klitschko brothers came and took over the heavyweight, and everybody was like, oh, it's boring. No, it's not boring. It's just that they're beating your fighters, and you guys cannot make fighters in the States because your biggest and best are playing football and basketball, and you're letting these Russians come and just take over the heavyweight division for a long time until Anthony Joshua and Fury came and changed that. So it's the same thing here. Like we talk about the Dagestani fighters. Yes, the good old American people like may not like that. Like, yo, these Muslim fighters, it's weird. It's just a weird thing in the UFC that it's kind of getting geopolitical in some ways, where I'm like, I don't know where it's. I like it, but if you're talking about the typical UFC fan that is not wanting to see boxing, wants to see a street brawl, and they're seeing people doing wrestling, and yeah, but I'll let that picture paint in your mind because it could get into some prejudice water, but yeah, I love the UFC. I love mixed martial arts, but I wouldn't be surprised here if bare knuckle PFL one come out of nowhere and pick up the scraps, get a John Bones, get an Ngannou already signed for PFL, get all these legacy acts and do like a WCW when they were going against the WWF, when they had to get.
We already had Bellator.
Bellator is another organization, yes.
I don't know if they're around anymore, but we had Bellator. that kind of did that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Um, the pay per views sell out, so but I think that's a good idea. Is these offshoots try to take the show on the road and, like you said, grow it at a grassroots level.
Mm-hmm. All right, fellas. It's been a quick show to cover. August 8th, this coming weekend, we have a line of fights here on the zone. And if I'm right, is this happening in Africa?
Hey,
In Libya.
Benghazi.
Libya.
Speaking of politics, geez.
Geopolitical, geography. So we have Albert Ramirez versus Jerome Pamelon, if I'm saying that right.
Pampalone looks like.
Pampalone. Oh. Then we have, I don't know none of these fighters, to tell you the truth.
Nope. Me neither.
We have Miracle Stilo versus.
See, they'll take it on the road for to have a fight in Benghazi is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll still watch it. You know, sometimes there's a gem in there, you know, like I remember the first time I caught what's his name? Well, I'm forgetting. Abdullah Mason. It was a random free card on ESPN, and they were talking about this teenager. And that day I was planning on just turning the TV. I'm like, let me see this guy fight. He knocked out that dude in that. Was it the second round, first round? So quick. And I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna watch you. Them type of happenstance type of things happen when you know you don't expect anything. You're like, man, these undercards or these fights happening in very miscellaneous locations like Benghazi, Libya. Yeah, I'll watch, and it looks like a very Hispanically stacked. I'm not seeing no brothers. Maybe there's some, brothers in there with Hispanic names, but I'm seeing a lot of Francisco Perez and
right.
Ramirez.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out why. Is this?
Yeah.
I mean, I got this from ESPN, and so that page has been wrong before, but yeah, I'm trying to draw the connection here.
But is there like a migrant population in Libya that we don't know about?
Let me see here. It actually is.
Jerome is a New Zealander.
Yeah, Jerome is a New Zealander. I don't know. I'm trying to see who's putting this fight together. It does
Albert Ramirez doesn't sound very ethnic as far as that region is concerned.
No.
Venezuelan. Venezuelan. Okay, all right.
So it only says brought to you by the Zone. It doesn't even say any other. It don't say the promotion on the website.
Just an interesting choice of location. Not to say they're not any deserving of a live event. It's just normally you see a local tie-in, right? That fuels
the seats to be bought.
Yeah, but maybe they're getting a lot of pay-per-view buys from Libya each time. There are some type of data tracking that justifies a venue choice. So,
facts.
I would have to imagine that there's something like that going on.
Hold up, this is a bomb.
The LT put this on there?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bomb. That's a bomber. That's the clue bomb or the
that's a
yeah. So
David,
one of my favorites to watch, David Morrell. Calvin Smith just got tired of waiting on an opponent, so he's like, all right, I fought David Morrell then.
Make it happen. This is very, very compelling matchup.
Is this the November fight?
if I can't, yeah, no. So if I can't get Benavidez, I'll get Morrell, says Callum Smith. Now you put them both on the same card, which leads to a potential. Should Callum Smith win, enters the ring. Should Benavidez win at the end of the night? Okay, and so now a win and a win, and it makes the money sense because you've put him on the card. Where you put him on the card matters. He's been added, but this is a stack card already.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Benavidez versus Yard, who a lot of people are giving Yard this chance and saying that Benavidez is going to have a hard time. I don't see that. Dude.
Yeah, I don't see that either. I don't know.
Do they get like, does Eddie Hearn say, "Here, just say nice things about Yard"?
Yeah. They got PR teams and crisis management firms.
I mean,
yeah.
You know what? Hold on. Bozzy Ennis was saying good things about Yard. Boots is with Hearn.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this. Benavidez, if you've seen his last fights, he's not been cracking people open. Like earlier on, he was just scary. The last fights, he's been boxing quite a bit. And
February versus Morrell.
Yep. That was a good fight. He had did he
November.
fight Plant? He fought Plant. Wait, let me look here.
No, Plant was 23. So he fought twice in 23. So Andre was the November fight. He fought June 15, 2024, Alexander Gazvik. That was a unanimous decision. Then that David Morrell fight, February 1st. And then the Yard fight is the November 22nd.
Yeah.
There you go.
So ever since his fight with Plant, he has not really been a David Benavidez TKO, force bulldoze my way through. He's been boxing really good. And maybe that's stepped up in weight. I don't know if that's translating that. But if you know anything about Anthony Yard, dangerous but reckless. And the times I've seen him being caught, Kovalev caught him because Kovalev is just a tough Russian dude, Russian-Ukrainian who put traps and set you. If you're just gonna be crazy like Yard would go, he got caught. I think Arthur beat Yard, but Arthur fought Yard the second time, and Yard beat the dog stuff out of him. And then most recently, Yard lost to Beterbiev. Look at the caliber of fighters that Yard is losing to. People that would scare any and every fighter that is active right now. So yes, Yard has his deficiencies. He's not, I would say he's not on the level boxing wise like Benavidez, but Benavidez should not take that wild dog for granted because he could crack you. Dare I compare Yard to like a Triple D, like Daniel Dubois? You have to take them type of fighters and finish them. Like you have to break their will. Like you can't, because you've seen how Yard fights. He's not reckless. How do I say? He steps on the gas. I don't know I've never seen him box like on the back foot or short skills. He's always he's like Dubois. Like, how do I say? Is that a good comparison?
Man, I don't know. If he fight David Benavidez like he fought the Lyndon Arthur, if we remember, that was a very lackluster fight. That was a third time fighting as well. I mean, it was. Yeah, I can't see him making it out this fight without getting just extremely beat up or knocked down or even stopped in this fight. I know you said Benavidez hasn't really shown that as of late, but if there's a fighter or a style for that to happen, this could be that one.
I strongly agree that this will bring that out of Benavidez. But also I could see in a world where Benavidez is like, let me outclass this guy and show you he doesn't belong in this ring with me, where he's not going to touch me, or I want to use your aggression and use it against you and put you in compromise. Yeah, I could see him knock out Yard just by like Usyk knocked out Dubois. Like Dubois looked like the fighter just running into them punches. Like I can definitely, you know what? I could see y'all. I could see what Usyk did to Dubois the second time they fought happening with Yard, because I can never see Yard fight Benavidez like how Benavidez fought Plant, where they're boxing. I cannot see that. I hate to say this because I like Anthony. I don't think he has that skill level to do that with Benavidez. So somebody's getting their head cracked. I don't see 12 rounds on that. So
This is interesting though, because this is Turkey. This will be 2 months after Canelo fights. If there ever was a scenario, this is the one scenario in my Doctor Strange. This is the one scenario if we were ever to get Benavidez versus Canelo.
yeah, what Canelo said about that, though. He is strong-minded about never giving David that chance.
Now listen,
what does do it? Salute.
Doctor Strange though. What does Doctor Strange said? It's the only way.
As he stares at Tony Stark. Bro, yeah. if the fans demand the fight, right? If Canelo can't go down the street without hearing about David Benavidez, if every interview, everything as far as that goes that way, he'll be forced to fight him. This is, I guess, it could be contingent or not contingent on however the outcome of the Terrence Crawford fight goes, because it's a big fight. So I think it doesn't lose steam either way. I think David Benavidez would prefer that Canelo win so he can say he beat a better version of him. But it seems personal. But I think if after the Terrence Crawford fight, win or loss, the fans need to get together, and the podcast interviewers, the networks have to collude and basically demand the fight, demand that they get in the ring and settle it. Because to go out in front of a microphone and say that you're never going to fight this person is crazy. You're a fighter, you're a champion. You say you want to be great. How do you prove your greatness without fighting arguably the greatest fighter in your division in this era? Like, that is, and you fought Bivol. Like, I mean, I don't understand. Like, you fought Bivol. Why wouldn't you fight Benavidez? Like, that is crazy.
With Canelo, you have to play with emotional. You have to put in an emotional poke in there and bring in things like Julio Chavez gave Oscar De La Hoya that spot. He gave him that chance. This could be Julio Chavez versus De La Hoya part 2, the biggest Mexican fight of all time. You know, you have who's passing the baton to the next guy. Like here, Mexican boxing is in good hands, like Julio did to Oscar. And make the biggest paycheck. I don't know if you'll fight in California somewhere, Texas somewhere, or even in Mexico. Make the biggest paycheck that you could make for your people, just on some selfish stuff. On some stuff. Like, just not
wait. Who just fought Berlanga?
We're talking about Ramadan. What's his name?
Wait, Hamza STRAP. Hamza STRAP.
But if the end goal is just to get him the belt, I can see Turkey seeing that, going through Benavidez is at 75 now, but if he fights Canelo for undisputed at 68, anyway, I can see an evil plot there. It's either going to be, the last fight of Canelo's contract.
Interesting. We'll have to see what version of Canelo we get after this fight, because I think we don't get a better version after this fight.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford.
We still talk about this Devin Burrell versus Callum Smith replacement thing for that November 22nd fight. Let's talk about August, and this is just a quick touch and go. When the fight leads up, we'll pull all guns out to this and talk through this topic. But the Twitter boxing streets are going absolutely crazy of what has been announced for August 15th. We have the return of the Yardman himself, Dylan White. He's going to fight the young, hungry lion in Moses Atamo. Twitter have been sparked by Chizora's comments about this and Dylan White's response about Chizora's comments. Chizora, I'm paraphrasing, said, Dylan White, why are you taking on this dangerous fight at this time or this stage in your career? You could veto and pass it on to the next one. Give this hot potato to somebody else. Dylan White responds to Chisora saying, Chisora, you complain about inactivity. You complain about all these things, always waiting. And you call yourself a warrior? You refuse to fight these fighters and you're always waiting because you're refusing to take on these fights and you walk around with the war hat. Marvin Hagler would not be making people wait. On his moniker. I am a heavyweight fighter and I fight everything that is placed in front of me. Paraphrasing. So his old enemy, Chisora, was worried about Dylan White fighting this young guy who has all this hype, all this power, and all this presence. It's going to happen in 2 weeks. Something is happening in the UK heavyweight boxing scene. I've seen this before. I saw it in 2012 with Anthony Joshua. They are planting and making a star, and they are elevating the star. For him to fight Dylan White this early, something is in the makings. Fella, I presented that. Take it on.
Okay. So there were talks again. Whenever Turkey's in the mix, like the limitations, there are none. Okay, and so traditional paths can be circumvented because we know that somebody like a Usyk doesn't have much time left, and we know that Moses Itamo is like the next big thing. And so it's a now or never. It's now or never.
Right. And I think the style is great. I'm just hearing about this. So I think stylistically, I think you're going to get an action-packed fight. And we're going to get an early test for Itamo. He's passing the eye test, but now we'll see someone with, I know, over 35 fights, somewhere in that neighborhood. And that's a true test. So that experience matters. It is the heavyweight division. One punch can change the fight, can change a life. So, you'll have to see how he gets out of the fight. That's an exciting addition. Which this is the August 16th. I was just trying to look it up, my Oxford died, but yeah, that's
Adelaide is fighting. This is Felipe
Hergovich. That's a tough fight for him, man.
Whoa,
that's a tough fight for him.
I didn't even know that. This is a Riyadh season. It's in Saudi Arabia. This is all Turkey. Turkey is a wizard, bro. How
Hey,
do you see someone they've
hey,
been dodging in this heavyweight thing? Have you noticed that there's some guys that you don't see them whenever you see them fight, they just they are wrecking machines.
I need Turkey to get in there and get Bakram in there, but but hey, you making these fights happen.
Adeleye. Hey man, that's a tough one, bro.
Yeah, so that's a tough fight.
I didn't even see that.
Are you looking at the 15th? When is this one?
16th.
There we go. Okay.
In Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
We have Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman. There is Raymond Ford versus Abraham Nova. There's Philip Hagovich versus David Adeleye.
Yep.
That's
how you make a card though. Like, come on, we want to be entertained.
Yeah.
In the event that the main event don't deliver, entertain us in the meantime.
This is in 2
and this is the spirit of the sport though. Like, you don't have guys running, 35 fights undefeated because they haven't fought anybody. These are warriors, and their challenges in their career. Losses to other great competitors don't they don't demean a fighter. So you fight the best. It's a risk, and that's what keeps us engaged and watching and talking about it. So, man, Turkey he keeps doing it.
Sometimes I forget we're already in August. Next month we have the sequel. We have the corner Eubank sequel. Corner Ben versus Chris. Boy, I'm excited. You know what? Let me taper my expectations because I've seen sequels have never been the best for me, but yeah, let's see how that goes. But yeah, I'm now looking at all the lineup fights, and it's going 2025 is going to end on some fireworks. The only mix we need in there is Anthony Joshua needs to come back and be active.
Needs to?
Yeah. Just to I can see a good legacy fight. Boxing really doesn't need him. I'm just thinking of money, right? And he's such a big cash cow. Because I'm looking at all the lineups here. You're hearing we already had Usyk fight. We already had Fury fight been announced, or he's supposed to fight Usyk again. Apparently, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but that's in the works. And I'll be a fool not to think that that's not in the works. That's definitely in the works because they've made so much money with Usyk fighting these guys. But I don't see Joshua on the lineup here.
Tyson Fury fought December 2024, so not out the picture for him to come back December 2025.
I can see that because right now I'm just doing the logistics and math. Some fighters have to fight, even if you don't want. It's just they make so much money for these companies. The Eddie Hearns and Matchroom, they need Joshua fighting. I just don't know. What I don't want to see is Joshua versus freaking Jake Paul. Get that out of here. But if that is starting to ring and do numbers online, everybody's yapping about it. That it's hard to avoid it. But I want to see a Joshua fight announced in 2025. Just keep a healthy ecosystem of boxing, because right now there's some fights happening in between now and the 16th. I don't know who the fight is. Of course, I know Omar Trinidad, but some other fighters, I'm like, this is happening in Mexico. Of course, that's why I don't know. Sydney, Australia, we have Nikita. John Paul Rivera happening in Orlando. I mean, there are fighters here that I'm like skipping because I don't know them. I'm like, man, I want to see some fights. I want to see a Tank, which we know what's happening. He was supposed to fight on the 16th. Was that the 16th when him and old boy was supposed to have scheduled to have fought 16th the next 2 weeks? Like he's retired or something. He's going through some other stuff. Maybe what
we can get Duarte and Joshua rematch.
I would watch that. I would definitely watch that.
That's
That
definitely
was the last time they fought. That's the last time Joshua fought. That was last year, right?
2024. Yeah.
Yeah, last year. I'd watch that. I want to watch. What else have I not seen? Of course, Crawford is going to fight here in September. When is Crawford fighting? September.
Yep.
Tank. We want to see Tank fight this year.
Bakram. Need to see Big Bag Bakram.
If they don't dodge him, because there's some people that they don't want to see that problem right there.
So I sent y'all in the chat. Talking spicy on Twitter.
The hammer,
man.
Oh snap, Lubin.
I like Murtea. We can see Murtea fight again.
Yep.
But the whole top rank roster, it's we're in limbo.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like the PBC roster was in limbo up until they made that deal with Prime. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I thought I saw an article about.
So now, so now you got top rank, limbo, PBC with Prime, PBC, ESPN. So that's what the talks are like. I don't know what's best for who and what party, but it's best for the fighters to be on a platform where they can showcase their talents. We know that's a good thing. That's always positive.
They have a thick roster. They have that Jug Buzz of the world, the Jared Andersons. Yeah.
Were you gonna say DAZN? Everybody thinks that DAZN's gonna be like a monopoly.
Let's have all the fights.
I could see them moving on the zone. It just depends on who's the owner of Top Rank. Is that Aram?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Muslim guy, got his name, but this depends on how DAZN does that, because DAZN is exclusively Matchroom too, right? So Matchroom,
isn't there some in Oscar De La Hoya some Golden Boy or no?
They were beefing at one time, but
well, I mean,
they solved their
Golden
issue. But
Boy has partnered recently.
Speaking of, they had a YouTube card, a little while back that was popping. That was popping like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
that YouTube card was popping.
Oh, which one was that? Yes, that was early Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Didn't Golden Boy get
so
sued?
With that? Well, I'm saying with that, the power of YouTube, right? You have your promotion company. I randomly get on YouTube and there's fights on. So that is an avenue if you don't exclusively have all your fights on that network. So maybe give the promotion companies a little more leeway as far as how they promote their fights, and they're not necessarily tied to a network, but they have the ability to show their fights on that network. So, we're in a flux of how the media is being put out.
Right. So I've noticed
and consumed. Right.
I've noticed because of how I watch my boxing. I know Queensberry is Frank Warren, and Queensberry, you could watch it on DAZN, and you could also watch it on TNT, the UK's version of TNT, which is like a little bit of pink. You know what I'm talking about? The TNT Sports.
Yeah,
So
it's one of their sports. Yeah.
yeah, I think you could disseminate wherever if you own the entity, you could use like if let's say Top Ranking, you could have Top Ranking on the zone here in the United States and have it on TNT over there in the UK and have it on a different platform elsewhere. Um, which I've noticed with Matchroom. Matchroom does that too. Matchroom, well, no, I'm lying. Matchroom is exclusively the zone. That's her Eddie Hearns and his team. Uh Golden Boy, there was Canelo was suing Golden Boy and the zone for the money that was not paid. I don't know if that was ever settled. But Canelo was given exclusive. He gave exclusive to some amount of fights to the zone through Golden Boy, and Canelo was given close to like 300 million. But something happened, and that's why Oscar and Canelo are kind of at odds. So I don't know if that beef was also Oscars and the zones. I don't know. The zone is just a platform for you to just put your stuff on, I guess. But if Top Ranking, because in my mind, I'm just biased. Top Ranking to me, I'll always have it as an ESPN entity. It's just weird for me to see it on anything outside ESPN. It's just weird. It's just
I mean, we've associated them for what I don't know, was it 15 years or whatever?
Yeah.
Hey, who is Floyd Schofield under?
Golden Boy? Wait.
That's what I thought, right?
Yeah, I think Golden Boy.
Golden Boy?
And he's just fighting on the zone, right? So
so Golden Boy's been moving around.
Golden Boy has a Fandora. Fandora's Golden Boy. And that's
we gotta check that Fandora. I can't remember.
Gabriel Fandora is Golden Boy. Lubin is Golden Boy. Virgil Ortiz is Golden Boy. It's a pretty thick roster.
So there you have it.
It's a thick roster. And I'll tell you all the fighters here we have. The champions.
So here's it. So here's the scenario.
Zepeda.
The scenario is Top Rank versus the zone.
I like it. That the fighters have a legit competition with an established platform. You can just slide right in. I'm sure these talks and negotiations are already happening. You don't like quit your job without filing another one. So,
well, the contract ran out.
Your contract ran out. Your contract running out. You don't start looking at the last day.
The lease, you're looking for a new place to live when your lease is up. Before your lease is up.
Yeah. Not the day to move out. So, I'm sure we can expect something soon with what was it? The shoe cards for last weekend. So,
I mean,
give it a few. A couple weekends go by, and hopefully we get some news there.
Yeah. Well, fellas, we've reached our hour 43-minute mark today.
We're gonna show y'all this though. We'll let this slide on the bottom. There you go.
Oh yeah,
y'all can read that.
Yep. As we ending the show today, it's been another great episode of Who's Fighting, episode 65. We are pulling this from episode 19 when we started back in September, and we are maybe August because there was a baby in between there. So so leading on to almost a year since we actually, let me get the exact date we came back on the scene crispy and clean. Let me see. We came back August 4th, exactly a year from today is when we aired again, saying the famous back again. How about that? Happy
Hey,
1 year, Kam Gee, for being with us.
pat yourself on the back, family.
Happy 1 year, LT, man, for
That's
pushing on.
crazy.
Pushing
Do
on,
you
pushing on.
know what today is?
We should have had like a special graphic to say, 1 full year of pushing it. And in that 1 full year, we've pushed out more than 40 episodes. Whether rain, snow, sunshine, babies in the way, work in the way, vacation, we've come and given you premium fight talk from the very professional, unprofessional cast. And it's 65. We push on, feed, feed, feed the algorithms. If you're watching this not live, leave a comment, subscribe, put your notification bell so whenever we hop on, you get a notification so you can join us along the way during our live show. And those that are watching the recorded episode, even if it's recorded, feel free to interact, leave a comment. We will go back and read some of those and maybe bring them on into our live show. If you have any banter, ways to improve on the show, things that you want to add on, fact check, however you want to share. We kind of we allow all interaction. Not every, but somewhat all of the interactions. We had to put somebody in timeout last time, but that's neither here or there. All right, fellas, it's been another great episode of Who's Fighting, and we off.